Your photo stack on Amazon has got to be as exciting as a fire alarm being pulled in the middle of church. That's exactly what happened to me today. I'm in my Sunday best still. My 2-year-old son pulled the fire alarm in the middle of sacrament. I kid you not. The speaker didn't know what to do. My wife was running trying to chase the 2-year-old. And that is the sort of emotion you want to invoke when somebody is, whoa, look over there. There's a product. I should click on that. Let me pay attention instead of scroll fatiguing all the way down Amazon search results as I listen to the sermon called Amazon.com. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy, and this is going to be a masterclass on photo stacks. We're going to be talking about the main image of a product. We're going to be talking about the secondary images of a product and going into great detail and showing you my own journey as I have evolved these photos myself. For example, I'm going to pull on over here a terrible photo that was on my secondary images. I ran some A/B testing only to discover that everybody hated this. Everybody, both the men and the women hated this thing. Nobody wants to look at a man's hairy armpit area. I had this image up for a year. It never clicked to me. I had no idea. I just happened to be testing an A/B test tool, and I got lots of negative commentary on this particular image. So I got to work and I swapped it out. I now have some beautiful women with eye contact and some eye candy looking at the camera and smelling the soap. Massive difference here. I got rid of my negatives in the retesting, and we're seeing a conversion bump. All right, so let's dive in with some examples today and tell you why this matters, first of all. So if we go over to Amazon.com and type in artisan soap, by the way, I am dominating on artisan soap. You can see I've got 3 slot right there for the PPC ads. I've got organic slot 1 and 2. So I really know my artisan soaps. I am like the dominated player in that space right there, ready to go. So as you scroll down and you start looking at the options that are in front of you, what catches your eye? Why do you want to focus on a particular product over another? I am running a sale right now on my Sissel bags. I don't even know if that's how you say that. And I'm having some new products. Basically, these Sissel bags, by the way, are to cover up the fact that I've got some blemish soap. So I have 2 different packaging shots that I've done. This is my new soaps. I also have some old soaps. So here's my old version of it. And over the last year, we've accumulated several hundred thousands of bars, actually, of damaged goods that I couldn't sell regularly. So I was like, how do I turn that product around? I threw it in a Sissel bag, and that's what you see right there. So that's a newer product. We're running a sale on it to see if we can get some velocity. Clearly, it's working. I got it to organic slot number 1 for the term artisan soap. All right, so that lays the framework for today as we're diving in and talking about all these various different things. So when a consumer types in a search result like artisan soap like this, and they start to scroll down, first of all, your landing page, all ads, that's just something you're going to have to get used to. Unfortunately, that's just the fact of the matter. But as you scroll down, you so many options. Like there's too much going on with this. You can't really tell what's going on. This looks really simple and modern. That looks cool. And you've got my products here where you can see multiple bars. You can see the soap bar. You can see the packaging. And we've done all kinds of testing to decide how to outline the product. We've tried to get clever. We've tried to do plus signs with the soaps in a plus sign shape. We've tried to do articulated artsy ways of displaying it. But after all of the testing, we landed on doing the stack like this. And there's my video ad. That's cool to see. And it's very simple video ad, I might add. So you can do all of these things we're going to be talking about today. Boom, just throw some text on some imagery and scroll across, right? So there's another one of my ads. Man, I'm not even purposely trying to hit this so many times. There's 2 more of my ads. There's me organically. Wow, I am just dominating artisan soaps in the category. That's pretty cool to see. Okay, so it might as well be one of my brand names at this point. We're like 11 listings in the top 20 right there. Boom. So how do you end up dominating a category like this? It takes some effort to give consumers what they're looking for, to chase that market share. And the reason this is important is because when you look at something like this, I think hot dogs. I don't even know what that, Himalayan salt, Like the eye and the emotions and the initial conjecture of somebody looking at a product, they don't even know what they're looking at sometimes when they're scrolling down. That one's really weird looking. That's a kind of an unusual thing on the list here. Stone Mountain Pumice. That one's got some really strong text right out in the front there. That's pretty cool. And so you just have to really think, like, how am I going to get somebody to click on mine? Can't even see the goat's milk phrase very well there. It's kind of a little too hidden. I'd probably put some plaque text on that. So this is why it's important, because you can't get them to go to your listing to begin with without getting them interested. It's got to be a very bold. I really like this main image. That one's pretty cool, actually. I might save this one. Let's go check this one out and see what they're up to, because they have a little bit of a character with the kind of side tilt shot and the packaging, and it looks like a wood box. It looks like it comes in a wood box. It's probably not. Probably just cardboard that looks like kind of an artisan wood box. They're doing pretty well for themselves. 3,200 reviews here. Probably the exact same Oh, they've got the man armpit, though. I don't know about that. My survey says nobody likes the armpit, man armpit. So look at the natural ingredients. Pretty good stuff, actually. I think these guys are doing fairly well, minus the man armpit. This one could probably be a little bit better. I mean, if it's handcrafted, don't just tell me. Show me, right? Like, show me how it's handcrafted. Do some cool stuff there. I do like that they're showing all the things that it includes here, but I think my image stack does this a little bit better. So let's dive over to my product here. So let's see, I'm just making sure I line all this up. So we want to go to the new packaging and compare my old packaging. I'm selling the same exact product two ways. Somebody in my YouTube comments the other day said, oh, people don't just buy packaging. And I'm here to tell you they frickin' do, because look at this, 1,200 reviews there, 1,200 reviews there. My new packaging is doing better than my old packaging. And that allowed me to sell the same product two ways, get twice as many ASINs, twice as many search results, and I'm selling to a very different demographic, right? I've got kind of the Zelda-esque gamer look to this going on. Was trying to make a logo that looked like my daughter. I'm building all my brands to give to my kids when they turn 18. Hopefully they run them, right? Hopefully they'll just cash the check and sell them off. But, I'm sure one of them will. Got 4 kids going on 5. I got a Christmas baby coming along, baking it in the oven right now. Had to buy a new house because I have so many kids popping out. I run my business like I run my family. Never pull out, right? All right. So if we dive in here and we look at the photo stack, here is how I decided to do my natural ingredient shot, where we actually show what is inside of the ingredients with examples of the fragrance, examples of the coconut oil, the shea butter. By the way, I'm still learning how each of these ingredients matters. And so the other day I ran an AI tool and I was looking at my reviews only to discover that the number one negative thing somebody said in my reviews was that they felt like it was too harsh on the skin. And the soap was just overpowering to them. And I'm like thinking to myself, and I was like, well, that's why we have the shea butter in there. The shea butter is to help with the articulation on the skin. So what I did is I looked at one of my old images that I had on one of my listings, and I think we actually don't have it on our 4-pack here, so we're going to go hunt it down here. I think we have it on some of our single scent versions of the soap. So we're going to go, I think it's on one of these. So we're going to click over here, and we have a little bit of testing to see like what works better on various different listings. So in any case, you can see kind of some differentiation on how we're doing this. Some images you can, do a little bit of mimicking and change around. All right, so I didn't find what I was looking for, but I've got it on my side computer here. So imagine this shot without the thing in the top right. So that top right thing is brand new. We just came out with it like an hour ago with my graphic designer. And after reviewing the AI's analysis of my product reviews, I realized that people needed to hear that it is easy on the skin, because there were so many negative reviews about how it was harsh on the skin, when in reality it's actually easy on the skin because of the shea butter. And that's actually a feature. And sometimes when a consumer is complaining about something, it could just be that a change in the soap that they use could cause a challenge, but the long-term use of this product is very soft on the skin. And I'm speaking from my own experience, right? I've got some of this soap right here. I use it myself, and I've like exclusively turned over to this. I have perfect complexion and nice skin, no dry skin or anything like that. So sometimes just helping the consumer understand that this is actually going to do what it's supposed to do, but not every consumer is going to have the same experience. We're not going to be able to rewrite history or anything like that. But we want to emphasize that there is a feature that some people were complaining or having a negative experience on, and that was dry skin. So I'm super emphasizing, this is a picture we're going to roll out, the shea butter makes it easy on the skin. And I actually learned that from the AI bot doing the review of my listing. And if you want to check out that video here, check that out. I was using this tool right here, Genie Review. So if you look at the Genie AI video, you can see how I learned about how to do this. And this is kind of a continuation of that conversation where I learned something from the tool, then I took action. That's really the most important thing. If you watch this video and you don't take any action, it's a waste of your time. So make sure you pick one thing to act on in the next 24 hours. And then after you get that one thing done, it could be small, it could be big, then come back and pick a second or a third thing. And if you want to brainstorm while you're doing this, pull out that piece of paper right now and write down 2 or 3 ideas. One of those ideas could be use Genie Reviews, test out their free software to see how AI looks at your reviews. So we're going to pop this new photo in to really sell into that objection, help people understand that there is programming in the soap to be easy on the skin. So this is kind of a defensive play in a way, but turning it a little bit offensive. So we're 10 minutes into the video. You've already seen me do 2 changes in the past 7 days. I ditched the man armpit, put some pretty ladies in front, and then I tried to start emphasizing rather the shea butter, which we have kind of a call out here. People really love this shot. The A/B testing said people love seeing the ingredients. They want to know as much as they can about a particular product, and that's why we've had this shot there for a long time. We also had really good success showing multiple shots like this where there's all kinds of different options. We got the macho set, the good and evil set, masculine, damsel, doing really well, showing that differentiation. One of the other shots I really like is to show all of the different kinds of scents, to show the depth of the brand. Obviously, when you're first starting out, you might only have 2 or 3 SKUs. You might not be able to do something like this. Maybe the product you're selling will never be able to do this because you're not going to go depth on colors or scents or flavors or whatnot. But if you have the ability to do this, a shot like this shows the depth and the breadth of a brand, because not very many companies can claim they sell 50 different scents. And to be able to show it in an image like this and zoom in, let the consumer play around and look at all these different things, man, it's really fun to see that, because then the consumer's going to want to be like, oh, I want more. They're going to click on the brand store. They're going to go over to the soap page, and they're going to explore and pick multiple products, increasing your average order value and finding all the various different things you have for sale. And that's going to lead to a lot of cool things. Here's our artisan soap shots. You'll notice that we have on the main image a particular scent-oriented object. So we got the eucalyptus there. We've got, I'm not even sure which one this one is. Click on that. So this is the wild passion flower right front and center in front of the soaps here on the main image to get people to want to click on them. We show off the box that this comes with, so it feels very handmade-esque to it. We sell these on Etsy as well, and have had a lot of good experience with that, showcasing the brand just so. All right, so I impacted that on soaps. I showed a couple different learnings that I've personally had. Now let's get away from the soaps and start looking at some alternative categories to kind of push home some of this idea. So the first one we have here, this is a different type of product. It's the Sucker Buster, and on the left is the before shot. Let's see if we can zoom in on this, and on the right we have the after. And showing the packaging here makes a massive difference, because now we're going to be able to see the baby. And we all know as marketers that babies and puppies, man alive, that drastically increases interest. So if you're selling a pet product and you don't show an animal in your main image, you got to. If you're selling a baby product and you don't show the baby in the main image, make an immediate change makes a massive difference. Sometimes just showing a little bit of context to the product. So here, where all we really did here is just add the rear view mirror. So you could see the size, the banana for scale of what's going to look like when it's hanging there. The other subtle change that's made here is to kind of show the scent orientation, show the object of the scent right there. Not as obvious to the consumer, but it kind of intrinsically helps it. This one's really easy because when you look at this one on the left, you have a hard time even understanding the context of what we're looking at. It's a cotton bag, but by simply having the word cotton show up and then showing an actual cotton plant, the consumer can much easier understand, hey, this is made in the USA cotton when they're looking in the search result, and it's going to really drastically help. If you go over to the search results, this is that exact same product in PPC position 2. Here's what it's competing against. And there's another muslin bag slot 4 going on right there. Massive, massive difference comparing that to what you see on the screen here. Obviously, some color showing some vegetables inside of the bags. That's going to be very beneficial to get the consumer to think, oh, that's what you use this product for, right? I was talking to somebody who had invented hummus ice cream. They were at a particular show giving away free samples, and people, person after person, would come up and say, what do you do with it? And the person got frustrated, so frustrated. By the time the 10th person asked, what do you do with the product? He says, you freaking eat it, you idiot. And that's what the consumer needs sometimes. They just need to be told what to do with it. So showing some vegetables in the main image, you put vegetables in this cotton bag. That's what you do with the product. Sometimes you got to go there to really boost home the product idea. All right, this next one, it's not as easy to tell what this is. Is this a soup? Is this, I don't even know. I can't tell if that's fruit. When you're scrolling through on Amazon.com, you got a lot of things you're looking at. But then when you blow up the image, you show the fruit a little bit better. And the fact that somebody's going to be looking for no sugar or water added, looks like a packaging shot that the product is sitting on top of. That's going to make a really big difference and showcase the brand. Here we have an eyeliner, and simply showing the color of the eyeliner with a little squiggle there, that gives it quite a bit of a brand presence. I really like how this particular one came out, and it's tattooed eyeliner, hunter green. And on the left, you don't really know for sure what color it is. But if you're in the search results, you can see the package shot right there, hunter green. Look at the squiggle. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Your CTR, your click-through rate, it's going to go up. It's going to be a good day for you. Here's another example. This is the before shot. You're looking at probably a bike lock, maybe. Well, now if we put in the packaging shot where it says bike U-lock, that's going to show the context. That's going to help the consumer understand exactly what they're getting for, and that's going to help the CTR drastically. All right, so now you're like thinking to yourself, I got to do another photo shoot, right? Got to get some new stuff. Not necessarily, but if you are going to do a photo shoot, here are some ideas and tips for you. You can set your product on a table and just think about the different angles that are available here. Front facing, 3/4 front, 3/4 front opposite side, 3/4 back side, detail shot where you're doing kind of a zoom in angle. And you could use a cell phone to collect some of these. I got a Pixel 7. Man, this thing can get like a 10,000 pixel shot. Does fairly good with a little bit of lighting. You might be okay. May not have to get the professional photographer involved. But if you do and you want to use our third-party partner, go over to myamazonguy.com. Click on services. You could always shop around on some of our design packages ranging from A-plus content, listing images, brand storefront, brand story. But if you need to order from a photo studio, click on this photos button right there. This is going to go to our partner, Fast Product Photography. And if you click my link, you'll buy me some Chipotle, and I appreciate that in advance. And you can see all of the different types of photos and angles that you can take. Some pretty good photo options here, and they get the turnaround on this is fairly fast. I've had nothing but good experience. Not a single person I've sent their way has come back and told me they haven't had anything but a good experience. So you can see all the different packages they have in portfolio here, something you can go check out. But before you do an actual photo shoot, if you already have some high-res images and you just need to show a new placement, you can use some supplemental stock photos to introduce new lifestyle angles. And there is a great way to do this, whether you're using Photoshop, Canva, or some AI tool of another. There's lots of different ways to test that and see how it does. Here's some specs to keep in mind. Each photo needs to be 2000 by 2000 pixels. Now, the secondary images can fudge that just a little bit, but I wouldn't go anything south of 1500 or it will pixelate. I do recommend the JPEG format. PNGs sometimes have an issue when you load them. I recommend 7 photos. However, the 7th photo is commonly not seen by consumers because it's replaced in the photo stack by the video. Here on a listing, you can see what I'm talking about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The 7th photo is taken by a video, but if you click on the photo stack like thus, there's the 7th image hiding, and that will be replaced, as well as the 8th one there as well. And so you got to decide like which images are the most important. This is why I do recommend running some photo A/B testing to see what consumers like better than not, so you can rotate in and get the additional shots in the order of importance and the order of engagement with consumers. Another really big thing to keep in mind is the cropping of the main image. You want to see about 85% of the image show up and be present. Anything less than that, your product can look smaller to the consumer and can cause some challenges. So if you have a bad cropping job, your item will look smaller, like a rear view mirror makes an image in this mirror might look smaller than it actually is. 7 shots you can take: main image on white, back image, show the labels, close-up shots to show a feature, infographics, photo with text and key features. We've showcased that quite a bit, showing available in 5 wonderful scents like that. And then lifestyle, show the product in use, who's the sort of environment you're trying to create, or the aspirational where you humanize the product in use and go for the social gain. This is like what I call the humanization shot, where you're showing the product in use like this, where you're showing the soap used by the person. This is a stock photo, by the way, where we just inserted the soap in like thus. Just by happenstance, I found the original shot like this. This is the new one where we're throwing the shea butter into the corner there. You can see the before and after of that. So we're always upgrading the secondary images as time goes on as well. If you're not sure you can fill any of these shots we recommended, by the way, make sure you get that video. You do have to have brand registry to show the video. You could also do a side image or a group shot of multiple products in line. The more powerful your brand, the more likely you're going to want to showcase the multiple products in a line anyway. We're going to briefly talk about videos here. Ooh, boom, big video sound blasting at me here. So we'll put that on mute, and you can see that a video can be made with some still shots. Just throw a little bit of music on, throw a voice audio on if you can. That would be one way to do it. Another way you could do this video is to do an unboxing, and where you're talking and touching the product like thus and showcasing it, how to use it, getting some unwrapping going, and consumers love that stuff. They love to see how the product is going to actually be used by a consumer. There you go, showing some hands being washed. So that's a great way to get videos posted within your photo stack like that. Highly recommend doing that. Even if you only do a 60-second clip with no editing, pull out your cell phone today and take some action. All right, so the next thing I want to go over is the brand story. So when you're thinking about how consumers use your product, you also need to think about how consumers use Amazon. And one of the things that consumers have been trained to do is click on this more icon like this. They scroll down, they see these ads, boom, I can see more products. Boom, I can see more products. And so with your brand story, this is a rare opportunity to get what I call horizontal real estate on Amazon. Many sellers don't even have their brand story published yet, and the ones that do frequently don't fill in all of the modules. So here is a case example where we've just chock full, lots and lots of modules. I do have hundreds of products that are active at FBA, so it's easy for me to fill this in. If you're only a 2 or a 4 SKU brand, it'll be harder, but it can be done because you can use products, you can use large images like this. Tell the story of your brand. Why are you the customer avatar? Why did you make this brand? Hopefully it wasn't just to make money. Like what gets you out of bed in the morning? Showcase that here. How did we get our start? What makes our products unique? Why we love doing what we do, and all of that good stuff. Most people are not going to read this, but it's an opportunity for you to engage and showcase additional product. One of the goals you have here is that somebody will click horizontally on your products like this instead of go horizontally on the ads that they see. And there's 58 pages of ads that they could click. So 19 modules, that's the maximum that you see here on the listing and the brand story. By the way, each of these has alt text where you can inspect and see the alt text like this. There's 100 characters of SEO juice on every single photo. Yes, this does index. We know this because we've put Spanish behind a photo multiple times and it indexes in under 48 hours. You can test this yourself, use the scientific method so you know that Stephen Pope, the founder of My Amazon Guy, knows what he's talking about. Go out, add some Spanish to one of your photos, and at least one Spanish character is going to, word or phrase is going to index in under 48 hours, and it'll prove my point. So that means focusing on some SEO, not just design juice when you're building this out, will have a major impact. You can also fill some text in. We're a little light on it in these modules because we prefer to show the products and have the alt text, but a couple, 3 paragraphs right there can't hurt at all. So brand story, this is an A+ content module. If we go into Seller Central, to get to this, all you got to do is log into Seller Central, go over to Advertising A+ Content Manager, and here you can see some A+ content you've previously made, but if you hit the Start Creating button, you're going to see 2 or 3 modules. If you don't have 15 submissions for A+ content, this premium section will not show up yet, but the brand story is this 3rd module right here. And that's where you can go in, click on that, and see the carousel that goes horizontal. Body text, headlines, background images, modules, and so much more, all available inside of that. To get access to premium A+ content, you will need to make 15 submissions for A+ content, as well as a brand story present and published. Yes, you can submit multiple A+ contents on the same SKUs to get that 15 qualification submitted. So when you're doing your photos, your images, your design stack, keep in mind you're going to need to do some additional work going down to the A+ content, going down to these sections here. Technically speaking, the brand story is part of A+ content, but the A+ content proper starts right here in product description. Now, this is a premium content display here. It does allow you to put videos smack dab right inside of the display. It is harder to put 500 words of crawlable text, which is one of our best practices when doing design work, inside of premium A+ content because it's more photo-centric, but it is still possible. As you can see here, I've got some crawlable text. This is going to be beneficial for SEO, both for indexing as well as ranking products. And you can always rely upon the product grid down here. One of my favorite mechanisms, I like to show the target audience and get some additional keywords in there. So like the him and her, being able to repeat that 4 or 5 times on these products right here, that's going to help me. Same with handmade soap. And if I wanted to rank better on the term artisan, which I'm already dominating on, so I don't need to, but I could add like artisan handmade soap right smack dab here as well, just to get those additional keyword references when you're doing your design work, your A+ content. Think about getting those target words that you always need to rank on, get exact matches built into the system, because it will be very, very beneficial. Now, Premium A+ content does have some horizontal modules as well, but they're picture-centric. So there's only 3 photos here, 1, 2, 3. Whereas here you have over 96 products you can show on the brand story. That's 9,600 different alt text characters for SEO juice you can add. In the A+ content, you can also add SEO juice here as well. If you click edit on A+ content, maybe you already got a publication in there. You can come back in and add text later, headlines there, body text there. You can also click edit on a photo and add the image keywords right there, which is very beneficial. They recently did change this from the phrase alt text to image keywords, which is kind of a subtle like head nod that, yeah, these are keywords to help people find your product. And Amazon does have public record saying A plus content does help you index, so you better listen and fill it out fully for all design aspects. Here's one of my newest product releases. We don't even have a review on these yet. These are some metal signs that we just came out with. Broncos and cobras and all kinds of dog mom stuff, grenades, etc. And we'll scroll down to the A plus contents and we can see gigantic images just showcasing, like looking at seeing a bucking bronco side by side a real bucking bronco. That makes a really cool difference to showcase the metal sign. We're going to focus on that made in the USA and that gift angle and where you can put it, show and tell how you can use the product, what it looks like, and embrace everything about it so that consumers can feel it, so that consumers can see themselves using that product. Let's see how we did on the photo stack here. I would say we have a long way to go with some of our new product photo stack here, but there is a good showing dimensions right there. That's going to be beneficial. Showing it in a lifestyle image setting. What I'm missing in this photo stack right now, though, is although I show a horse, I don't show a cowboy or a person. And I think that might be a really important angle to add here. Probably going to want to get kind of that cowboy-esque lifestyle image showing up here. So I'm going to take a quick note to my designer and say, hey, jump on this. Let's take a moment and talk about target demographics or customer avatar. So when you're thinking about building your product designs, your photo stack, it's very important that you're showcasing the customer avatar. So what is that? This is basically who you think would be your most ideal aspirational customer. So if I was selling cat treats, I wouldn't put a picture of dogs eating it because that's not the target customer. Now, if I sold treats that could be consumed by both cats and dogs, I'm going to create two different listings and use the same product twice, similar to how I did my artisan soaps, hitting two target demographics and then selling a cat treat and a dog treat, and only show dog pictures on the dog posting, only show cats on the cat listing to differentiate and make it so that when somebody shows up in the search results, they're going to click on and feel like they're at the right place. That's a very crucial aspect I see a lot of people miss, and it's really fundamental, right? So sometimes I'll get into a coaching call and I'll talk with somebody and they sell a very particular product and I ask, who's your ideal customer? And they tell me who their ideal customer is. And usually, more often than not, it's who they think the ideal customer is, not who actually is the ideal customer. And so if you were to poll the audience, if you have a massive brand, you're selling millions of dollars on Amazon, the less niche you're going to be. You're going to have to generalize your avatar. But if you're super niche and you're in the riches get niches categories, subcategories at that, you're going to want to go super niche with your customer avatar. So if you know you sell to Mexicans that are aged 30 through 35, that are female, show all Mexican female ladies in those images. If you know that you're only going to sell to that one aspirational target or customer, it's a very big deal. One time I was selling some hemp cream for a customer and we had Mike Tyson in our graphics. We had a deal with Mike Tyson. I actually got a Zoom call with Mike Tyson for a moment. I got starstruck when he came on camera and I was like, oh, I'm a big fan. I wasn't really a big fan, but whatever. What do you say to a legend when you talk to them and you didn't have any prep, right? I didn't know what to say. I was starstruck. What do you do? And so in conversing with the brand and looking at the brand analytics, it turned out that the number one target demographic was 55 to 70-year-old ladies. And showing Mike Tyson, it didn't do it justice. It just wasn't the right angle, wasn't the right focus for what we were trying to accomplish. So what we ended up doing is we removed Mike Tyson, good guy, love the guy, like what he has to say, and he's had a great, stellar, legendary boxing career, but he wasn't the right target avatar for the customer that we were seeing purchase the item. We ended up replacing those images with aspirational, healthy, old, elderly women. Sales tripled once we did that. Very difficult rebranding decision, moving away from sports, going for, let me just help get around the neighborhood, get around the house angle with some hemp cream to rub on those achy knees that everybody has when they get to that age. So that's the sort of thing you have to think through. Don't make the mistake of selling to the wrong demographic or putting the wrong customer avatar up, because if you do, you're going to push away some of your customers. I was shopping the other day for my toddlers and some of my young kids to see what I could buy them. I ended up landing on some baby organic yogi snacks, and here we have a picture of kids stuffing their faces. It's exactly what kids do. I love the eye contact with the camera. This is fundamental. It shows mom. It's a coming to the rescue, saving the mom because they're out. It looks like they're in a picnic type situation, but maybe even better would be like reaching behind the car, or you're driving right now, handing the kid the snacks and getting into that sort of lifestyle scenario. But the photo does it justice. That's pretty good here. But if you're thinking about all the times a product can rescue somebody and showing that target product being used by the target audience, this is the sort of angle that you're going to go for. Here are the categories that you could think about when deciding who your target demographics are. You've got age, and you're going to want to do kind of the younger side of that window. So if your target is between 30 and 40, you're going to slam a 30-year-old in there. The only time you wouldn't want to do this is if you were selling to the elderly side. You might show a 55-year-old that could pass for 70, but you still want to go younger and aspirational with age. Always show the younger side of this whenever possible. You don't want to go middle of the road. There might be an exception to this in that kid range, age 6 to 12. If that was the range, you may not want to show the 6-year-olds. You might want to show a 9-year-old, something like that. But almost every other age demographic, you want to err on the side of younger. Gender, only show one gender whenever possible, all female or all male. If you're not sure which one to put, let me tell you, it's female 80% of the time. Even the females like looking at other females. Some of you are going to say, oh, that's sexist, but that's just reality. And in marketing, you have to be true to what actual people do. There is no pleasing the masses on demographic targeting. You just have to embrace this sort of thing. Family size. Now, this may not even come across your mind when you initially think about this, but if you're selling to cat ladies, they may not even have kids. So showing kids in the shots might be a bad idea, but showing a cat mom with 7 cats might be a good idea. Most likely not. Probably only want to show 1 or 2 cats, but you get the idea. I used to be a television reporter. I actually went on the air my first week and talked about a cat house. Apparently that was a euphemism for something else that I didn't understand at the time, and my news director was high-fiving the anchor, making fun of me behind the scenes as I said it with a straight face going live on the air. But those are the things you learn about randomly when you're talking about trying to help a cat shelter. Cat shelter would have been the better phrase when I did that one. All right, marital status, right? Certain things might showcase better to the head of the household, or targeting who is going to make the purchasing power, or showcasing that the fact that this is a good product for a married couple. If you're talking bed sheets, home goods, almost always target the women. But there could be times when you want to showcase the man. Auto products, almost always a man on that one for sure. Marital status, though, and how many kids are in the picture, that could really affect who you're going after, who your target demographic is. Occupation. So this one's a really interesting one. I got to tell you, 80% of the people I talk to, occupation never comes up on the demographic segmentation question. But if I were to ask you, who's the target demographic for a Russian mail order bride? And some of you are like, can he say that? Yes, I can. And here's why I love that metaphor. Not only is it memorable, but it makes you really think. So if I ask you to just answer that question from an occupation standpoint, what's the first occupation that you think of when I say Russian mail order bride? Well, the one that I like to say is the most correct answer possible is a 3-time divorced truck driver. A truck driver who probably has some money but travels a lot, doesn't have a lot of social skills. They haven't practiced them. They're usually just in the truck driving all day. They're the sort of person who would be very interested in a Russian mail order bride. Marital status might come into fact on that one, wouldn't it, when you're selling that kind of product? Family size might too, but occupation was the most important on the angle for that particular demographic targeting. Religion. So if you have a particular product, let's say you're selling something that certain religions may not even purchase, you got to make sure you showcase the sort of person who would be what Google would pull up on those images, or an AI software might assume might be the target demographic for that religion when you showcase the sale of that product. You're probably not going to get any religion data out of Amazon's brand analytics or the occupation, but you will get some things like age and gender and income. Speaking of the last couple we got going on here, we've got education and income. Bachelor's degrees, master's degrees, high school education. I would say that the average Amazon shopper is a bachelor's degree family household with Prime. By the way, the majority of the United States is a Prime household. And very worthwhile to keep in mind that if you don't use FBA, your FBM sales that you ship out of your own warehouse, they're going to lose quite a bit of sales. So keep in mind that majority of the households are Prime members, bachelor's degrees, and about $100,000 household average for the median of an Amazon household. Obviously, when you have a median, you're going to have half the crowd below that, half the crowd above that. So keep that in mind. You might have 25, 30% of the crowd in the 50 to 60K household range. That is normal. But when you're thinking about your target demographic, if you're selling an apple slicer, you're probably going to be selling upward in that income bracket, not downward, because somebody in the lower side of that income, they're just going to pull a knife out, right? They're not going to want to save that extra 20 seconds by pushing down an apple slicer in the kitchen. But mom with 4 kids, family size, who is, 150K on the income household, that 20 seconds might make the difference for her day, and she's going to buy that product in a heartbeat. By the way, if you're wondering what an apple slicer looks like, here you go. Some of you may not have purchased one of these before. I have purchased this one 3 times, and we have it in multiple drawers. We use it almost every single day. I got 4 kids. We're feeding apples, trying to prevent the cavities and the candy consumption. But what's really cool about this product is you can push the apple off the slicer after, and you can see right there, boom, very, very handy. I think these guys are crazy not to show in their image stack, showing the kids reaching in for the apple. They just show the product demo, and that's better than nothing. But where's the aspirational crowd? They don't have the brand story up. Their A+ content, very lacking. Doesn't show any kids whatsoever. They do have 13,000 reviews, and if they ever watch this video, they'll probably be like, I don't care, I've got 13,000 reviews, I can do whatever I want. But the next guy selling an apple slicer is going to come in, and they're going to show the demographics that we talked about today, and they're going to steal some market share, and it's going to make a huge dent. Speaking of market share, there is this cool thing called the Search Query Performance Report. So after you do all of this cool design work, how do you know if what you did made a difference? Come in here to this. I like to call this the ICAP marketing funnel, because ICAP stands for impressions, clicks, add to carts, and then off to the screen to the right here, purchases. And so if you run some of the plays that we talked about today, and you embrace who you're targeting, and you have the ability to measure it week in and week out, weekly reporting, select the week 28, week 27, to see if your market share on a specific keyword is going up or going down. And speaking of Spanish, here we have Salvia Blanca para limpiar. And I don't even remember what that stands for, but I know it's my Sage Stick product because it keeps telling me to focus on that. So let's type in translate to English there. And all right, so translate to English. Let's see what comes up into our translation here. So translation, white sage to clean. So I happen to sell some white sage, and clean might be more like cleanse in my case. We'll show the product here. Here's my sage sticks right here. And here I actually put the Spanish word right in my title because it kept showing up on my brain analytics so much. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to embrace it. I'm going to try and rank for it. I have not checked my market share on this in some time. So when I click on the phrase right there, I'm coming up PPC slot number 1 and organic slot number 1. So when you put the Spanish inside, there we are again. You can go ahead and put Spanish smack dab right into a title, right into the demographic targeting, because I know that Spanish people are more likely to buy my product than non-Spanish people. So if I was going to redo my image stack, which is exactly what I'm going to tell my designer to do right now, because this has been on my mind and I totally forgot to do this, I'm going to redo the design for my image stack, and I'm going to embrace the Spanish angle and go a little bit over the top with this, because I think that would be very beneficial to target the fact that, hey, Spanish people are searching this. And we can see that from the brand analytics here. Now, the search volume might be low, 339, but I'm capturing the market on this term. If we scroll to the right, let's see if I can highlight this. I'm getting 7% of all impressions. I'm getting 30% rounded up on the clicks. That's pretty incredible. 1 out of 3 people, basically. On the cart ads, 26%, slipping a little bit, and the purchase is 26%. And it looks like I was a little off screen there. Apologies. So being able to get 1 out of 4 of the entire market share by just simply adding it to the title, and that's a lot of sales. That's on a weekly basis, mind you. So if you times that by 4, that's 1,200 potential customers that are buying my product. And it looks like 6 people a week on that one single keyword. So if we were to look through all of the Spanish, though, and we really analyze that ASIN, if we came in here, let's go ahead and do that. So let's look at the 3-pack, because the 3-pack is kind of our dominator. And we're going to go look at the ASIN reporting wage weekly and look at week 28. Let's see how much Spanish comes up. Spanish word right there. And it looks like that one as well. So 2 out of the 13 words that are showing up on my search query performance report are in Spanish. It looks like actually a third one right there. So that's going to be very important to kind of consider that the words that are showing up on the search query performance report are going to be more important more often than not. And so I'm going to go ahead and embrace that targeting and update my demographics for the images. All right, so we just talked about demographics. I showed you my aspirational and lifestyle images. Why all of this matters, because it's your click-through rate on Amazon on the main image. It's your conversion rate in the secondary image stack to help those demographics that meet your product specifications to convert. And then you can use brand analytics to track those results week in and week out to measure the impact. So I told you, go take some action today. Report back in the comment section how this helped you. And let's go ahead and try and rank this video. Amazon FBA graphics photo guide. If you could slam that into the comment section, Amazon FBA graphics photo guide to help me organically rank on this. Here you can see all the keywords that are related to product photography and listing optimization on Amazon. If you guys can help me get to rank number 1 on this, because I just gave you basically a near hour of content on how to optimize for photos and design, I appreciate in advance. Watch these other design videos in this playlist next. You're going to enjoy other guides we have as well. My name is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy, and this was your Amazon FBA Graphics Photo Guide.